Hi, this is Brian Elliott, and you're watching Two Mics Up.
007.
What's up, everybody? It's your man Dame DNYDC. It's Two Mics Up, brand new episode. And today is it's going to be a really interesting guest joining me on the other mic today. When we talk about versatility and just being able to maneuver, through, different areas of the entertainment industry. And he's done some really good work and been part of some great projects. And I'm really happy too to be able to say, and I'm gonna ask him if I'm correct. We right here in VA. We right here at home. We talking about homegrown, talent. We talk about homegrown work, man. And that really makes it extra special, for me anyway, being here in the DMV area in Virginia. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna bring today's guest to the other mic to join us in a fabulous conversation. Put your hands together for Mr. Brian Elliott. Brian, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good, Damon. Thank you for having me on.
Oh man, it's my pleasure, man. Like I said, I got to make sure I get to it because this digging in, man. You right here in the backyard. You right
Yeah,
here in Virginia, man. Like, give us a little background about who Brian Elliott is, the man, the person, who he was coming up that helped him, become the man that he is today.
sure. Born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. You know, spent a majority of my life here, and I played sports growing up.
Okay.
Went to Manchester High School in Chesterfield area, and yeah, played football all 4 years, youth league, all that stuff. Was a church going person growing up. Went to church every Sunday with my mom, stepdad, my sister, and yeah, man. So the I had a normal upbringing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't nothing out of the ordinary.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, just regular guy living a regular life,
yeah,
enjoying the area of Richmond, and I love that. But now that I don't want to say transform, but as we've grown, right? We all
yeah.
grow. I'm curious to know for you, Brian, like what are some of your passions, like when you're not performing or when you're not
Well,
working on the project?
okay. So when I'm not working on a project or just going over my lines or taking an acting class, I like to
Okay.
write music and write lyrics.
Okay.
And I've been doing that for a while now. I've been doing that since I'll say about 2003.
Mm-hmm.
It's cathartic for me, and I've actually recorded some music, and
Okay.
fortunate to have some placements and some songs
That's what's
out
up.
there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's one of my passions outside of music. I've also written a book of poetry called
Oh.
"Satan Can't Stop God's Chosen," and
Oh
it's
wow.
been published. Yeah, yeah. So you can find that at Walmart.com or Amazon or any of the retailers.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, thank you. So writing was a big passion of mine, and
Mm-hmm.
always did okay in English class. And it's funny because I actually got my start in acting from English class.
Really? Talk about
What will
that.
happen? Yeah. So what will happen is, as you know, there's required reading of certain stories, and the teacher will have those students read aloud parts of the story. So when it's my turn to read, I would get a little animated with the story and get into character, and started hamming it up a little. So one day, I think it was my 10th or ninth grade year, and
Mhm.
the teacher was like, "Look, can you perform this in front of the class in costume?" So that
Oh,
was my first foray. Yeah, my first
wow.
foray into doing something that was actor related, and I have other major stuff from there. But yeah, so that was my first foray, and then in the 11th grade, um, it was again my turn to read, and the teacher was like, "Look, man, there's an audition coming to our school for a short film for
Wow.
To highlight, safety in the area. So what my character was, I went out to audition, I landed the audition, and my character was buying stolen goods at his high school,
Okay.
unbeknownst to him. And it was just a situation where it would get my toe wet in the film world.
Right.
So after high school, I actually transitioned more to community theater,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, moved to LA in 2005 and spent a year out
Wow.
there. So I've been through the gamut. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, man, that's pretty awesome, man. That and it is awesome in the sense like this is one of those stories like you don't hear like through the love of English, right? Like, no,
Hmm.
that's something that not too many people talk about. Especially, look, let's just be honest, men of color, coming from
Hmm.
that. So I mean, it's a great story to see where when you really enjoy reading and you really enjoy English and you enjoy acting those things out. And I'm just saying that because if someone has a child or someone that may be watching this or listening to this on a playback, really channel and hone into your child. Because was that something that your parents did? Did they really find that, man, this is something that he really loves to do and they really help pour into you to be able to take that to the next level?
Yes, they really supported me in my
Hmm.
schoolwork. They made sure I did my homework. They made sure I had good grades. They
Hmm.
wouldn't they wouldn't let me play football if my grades weren't good.
But I know that's right. Yeah, I
You know
was
what I
there.
mean?
Hmm.
So it was one of those households. And basically they supported me when I wanted to get into songwriting. She bought me my first business book on songwriting. My mom did.
Wow.
Um, yeah, man. So it was just like, it was opportunities when I was writing the book. She had me go in front of the church to promote it,
Hmm.
um, and she helped me sell my first 100 copies.
Wow.
You know what
Look
I
at
mean?
that. Look at that.
Yeah. So it was very supportive, and I always thank my mother for those things because she's
Mm.
been the backbone in my life.
Yeah, that
Um,
foundation, boy, is something.
foundation is real, man. So,
Mhm.
it's helped me become a better man and someone who can carry himself in society
Yeah.
and, not afraid to speak when
Mhm.
asked questions or
Mhm.
speak up when it's necessary.
Right.
Yeah,
I
that
love it.
foundation of English, that foundation of education, it was there. Yeah.
I love that. So I want to transition because um as your growth and I can honestly say the first place that I know like I saw you, my wife saw you was a project Miss Virginia. And
Yes.
that was huge, man, in the sense like just of the addressing of the important social issues, if you will, that was really taking place in that project. Um,
Hmm.
Before you really get into the depth of the project, I'm curious, like, how do you choose, you know, your projects to work on? And a lot of times, are
Hmm.
you looking for a particular message in a project or film that you want to sign your or attach your name to?
Well, to be 100% real with you, at that time I was looking for acting work.
Okay, gotcha.
Um, so that opportunity came about to where um, Pat Moran, who was a casting director in the Baltimore area, called me into her office and wanted me to audition for this role.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know what the movie was about, but then once I got involved on and signed on to it, I learned more about it and was more than thrilled to have portrayed someone in that movie to where we can you know, expand on what the meaning of education is to the
Yep.
African American community.
Yep.
Because as you know, Miss Virginia's story is a true story about a
Yep.
woman who wants to get her child into charter schools in the DC area. So
Yep.
that film was shot right there in DC.
Yep.
And basically, that movie was displayed across the country. It's a BET original, and
Mm-hmm.
it still airs to this day on that channel
Yep.
and it had a positive message.
Mm-hmm.
It had a positive message of education, the black household, and mothers being there for their children.
Yep.
So I'm all for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was is a powerful piece of work because I mean it again I was raised by a single black mother, and
Hmm.
some of the trials and tribulations. So back then, it wasn't charter schools at the time in New York. They had like Lutheran schools, so private
Yeah.
school. And this was like a big thing. And I remember my mother really having to jump through hoops just to be able to afford me the same opportunity. And that movie just rung so true because I mean, I looked at myself and a lot of my other friends who I also went to school with, we kind of came from the same thing, single parent household,
Yeah.
trying to give us that best opportunity. And just to watch the work that she put in to really make it happen was astonishing. But it was also it was personally tear jerking to me because I lived it. So I
Yeah.
thank you for your work in that. But
Oh, no problem, man.
you
Happy to have
also
been a part of it.
though, Brian, you do a lot of other things than other than acting, right?
Hmm.
And whether it be producing, directing, like how do
Hmm.
you find time to really balance, these different roles? Because they're really like coming from different perspectives. So how do you
Yeah.
balance the three in your career? And is there one that you prefer more than the other?
Well, I'm a budding producing director. I have done a
Okay.
couple things,
Okay.
but I would say I really enjoy acting. I love being in front of the camera.
Uh-huh.
That's my natural gift. I do enjoy the process of helping produce a project, though.
Okay.
Um, it's scrap work from
Hmm.
beginning to end, from finding investors to finding crew to finding. It's like project management, you know.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's the kick in it all. It can be a little bit of a headache, but it's a process I enjoy.
Hmm.
The networking that goes into it is important, and
Hmm.
yeah, so finding that balance between acting, producing, and a little bit of directing, yeah, it comes with just making sure you stay on track with the acting and maybe side hustle the directing and the producing. So
Gotcha.
that's more to where I lean, you know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Like it's got to be tough, man. Because like some of the things, just like you just said in the background that we don't
Mhm,
see, you know,
mhm.
and I've always wanted to ask this, like, how difficult can it really be, or is it to find that funding for a project? Like what does that sometimes look like if you can go
Yeah.
into that? Yeah.
So a lot of times when you're trying to talk up investors, they want somebody who's already attached, whether that's A list,
Uh,
B list, but they already want a name attached. And a lot of times, in order to get a name attached, you have to have the money.
yeah.
So it's like a chicken or egg thing, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of the rub of it all is finding out who is going to, I guess, give in first.
Mm,
As far as trying to get this project off the ground. Now, if you
mm,
find yourself an actor who's passionate enough about the script, they'll
okay.
sign on and then you can find your funding. Or
Mm,
if you have a network of producers who you have a reputable name with, they'll say, "Hey, we'll give you the money. Just go ahead and find that actor." So
okay.
that's kind of how that works. So yeah.
Ooh, yeah. I've always wondered, man, because sometimes and I guess tell me if I'm correct. As a fan, sometimes you see a piece of work, like you watch a film or production, and you see it, and you're like, man, wow, that storyline was great, but if they could have gotten actor X or actress Y to play it, like you could have really seen it come to life. And that sounds like that's what kind of happens like in the role. What you're talking about, like sometimes if you don't have that right actor or actress attached to it, you get the
Yeah,
budget, but it's like sometimes they just don't mesh, they don't match,
they
and
just
you
don't match. Sometimes a lot of the actors they won't even look at a script unless the funding's there, and then a lot of
wow.
times they only work on a project based on you calling them first, meaning like they won't audition or anything like that. And a lot of
Wow.
times they could be above your budget. Like if you have
Right.
a A list talent, they might not work for less than a couple of mil. You
I
know what I
got
mean?
you.
And,
Yeah.
and there's some great indie projects out there that
Yeah.
you would love to have them on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the money. The money's not right.
Yeah, well, money runs
Yeah,
everything. That money runs the world.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the lesson I learned producing. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I always wondered, like I said, man, we just watch some stuff, man. You just be like, man, if they could have, you could see a certain actor or actress playing in that role that would, so but at least now we know, look, we just keeping it a buck. It's all about the money. All about the money.
Yeah.
So look,
Yeah.
we're gonna take a short pause for the calls. We're
Okay.
gonna come back on the other side of the break. I want to shout out our sponsors, TD3 Enterprise and Riddick Entertainment for supporting Two Mics Up. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this short pause. See you on the other side. 007. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back fresh out the break. We're here today with Brian Elliott, straight out of the Virginia area, man. He's representing. We've been talking about his work. If you haven't seen him and if you haven't seen the film, go check out Miss Virginia. Brian played a pivotal role in that film. Great film based on, charter school system right here in the DC area. So check it out. Brian, you also have some other work, which I'm going to ask you about. But before I really get to your additional work, I'm
Okay.
curious to know, looking back, you're still on the rise, trajectory wise in your career, but having the experience that you've had now, if you had one piece of advice, that you can share maybe with an aspiring actor or actress looking to make their mark or just to get into the door. Because I'm pretty sure the film industry has changed somewhat from how it was when you got into what it is now.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
I would say it's a numbers game. Don't give up when it's time to, go through these auditions. You may go through several auditions where it's 10, 20, 30 auditions in a row and you haven't landed anything. And it may not even be your skill set. It just may be your type. Like, you got to understand, a lot of times people are cast based on the members that are already cast, stuff like whether you fit into the costume, whether you're taller or shorter than the other person, whether you have chemistry with the other person or possibility of chemistry. A lot of times when you're cast, it's just based off of, they say 7% of it is based off of just being that type.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the tough part.
Wow.
A lot of times it's 93% of it can be skill, but the other 7% is just based off of being cast as a type.
Wow.
Don't give up. It's a numbers game. Plug away at it. Get some skill sets, take acting classes, hone your craft. I know a lot of people want to jump right into being next to Tom Cruise or Idris Elba.
Right.
But start off with the indie stuff, man. Your local filmmakers, they're working on indie projects all the time, student films at the local college. Yeah, just start off there. Yeah. And you'll get plenty of work doing that. And you'll have a resume by the time you're ready to get an agent. You're ready to step on set with some of these big wigs. So yeah, go that route. Don't be afraid to.
I just heard you say so resume, like build your resume, like you're probably second or third person. Like really, like what does that really look like? I mean, is that just like any other job resume? You're actually going out and putting in the work that you've actually appeared in or worked on, and you actually, wow, really?
Yeah. So a lot of times, if they have to select between, if you gave an equal performance with somebody who also gave an equal or better performance, they're going to look at your resume.
Oh, wow.
They're going to see what you have done in the past. They're going to see they're going to look at your on-set experience. They want to know that if they hire you, that you're not going to go mess it up, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to look at that. If you have, and they do check those credits too. So don't go lying on your resume.
Oh.
They'll find out whether or not you've been in that or not. Just build your quality work, build a body of work before you think about the big leagues. But that comes with experience. So just work at it, plug away at it. Yeah.
I did not really even realize. I mean, it's probably more serious than a real 9 to 5. It sounds like, I mean.
Yeah. And the great thing about it is when you start to build your resume, a lot of that can be done on the weekends. So it can be done on the weekends. Like a lot of the indie projects, they'll film on the weekends.
Right.
But once you get into the big leagues, they film during the week.
During the week.
So during the
Hmm.
week, so like Miss Virginia was shot during the week.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's kind of the difference.
But
But
that
yeah.
brings up a good point too. Like, again, we talk about how you may have started in the industry and how the industry is now. Like,
Mhm.
you've got to eat. Like, let's just keep it real. It's a job and everything.
Yeah.
You got to eat. What do you do? Not you particularly, but like, what do you find other work and other things? Like, do you do
Oh yeah.
voiceover work and other things to try to supplement that in the interim? Like,
Um.
is that as frequent as maybe your acting gigs?
Well, I tell you what, acting gigs sometimes come far and few between,
Right.
especially when COVID shut down everything, the strike
Good
shut
point.
down everything.
Good point.
So picking up work, don't be afraid to have a part time job or a side hustle. Do
Right.
not be afraid of that.
Right.
It is nobody's shame to do that.
Right.
It's necessary sometimes, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, unless you're a trust fund baby, you got to go out there and maybe do background work or
Yeah.
do a side
That part.
hustle.
That
So
part.
that part, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even now for me personally, I might work on my homeboy's food truck on the weekends
Okay.
just to get him some extra money,
Right. You got
gas
you.
money to get to these auditions
Right.
and travel and stuff. So yeah, I don't be afraid of it.
I love
Yeah.
that. I just like the honesty of it because I think sometimes as fans, one,
Mhm.
but then as others who, we get so caught up in this social media and what we see, but you guys are human beings too, just like we are, and you have everyday struggles, and
Yeah.
it's just refreshing to hear the honesty. That this is work. you know
Yeah.
you have the same struggle that we do. We have light bill, gas bill, we got family to feed, got to get back and forth to work. So I just appreciate the honesty, man, because I don't want a lot of times I just don't want people to think, oh man, we listen to Brian and Brian is doing this and that is just going to be that easy.
Right.
It's work, it's passion,
It's work.
and it's work. So I really appreciate you,
Yeah.
sharing that with us, and talking about your work, Brian. Like, are there, what are you currently working on? You have any projects that you're planning for maybe later on 2024, early 2025 that you can maybe talk about and share with us?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So we just recently had a premiere for the movie A Shared Secret,
Okay.
which was actually filmed in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
We premiered it at the Ashland Theater in Hanover County, which is
Nice.
north of Richmond. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was a film noir about a cop who had a bad shoot and ends up being blackmailed by the mob, and
Oh.
he gets
Oh.
entangled with one of the mob boss's girlfriends.
Oh.
So you can kind of see how that story plays out.
Oh.
Yeah. So I play Lieutenant George Hardaway, who clears the bad shoot. So I kind of have a role in all of that. So yeah,
Right.
it was fun to film. That'll be out on digital platforms as well, coming up
Okay.
soon. And then I also have a project where um, I'm working with my guy Maurice Tonya. We call him
Hmm.
First. He's a producer. He's the manager of Drew Sidora, who's on the Real Housewives of
Oh,
Atlanta.
word. Okay.
She's executive producing an animated series, and I have a guest
Love
voiceover
that.
role on that. And yeah, so that should be coming up this fall. And also, I have an NDA on a movie with Omar Gooding Jr.
Oh,
and
wow. All right.
well, Omar Gooding, yeah,
Oh,
Omar
yeah.
Gooding, and
Uh-huh.
that's going to be down in Atlanta. And gosh, also I have a pilot that I'm attached to that's down in Texas. Has distribution lined up. We try to get the finances to fund it and everything, but it's more of a positive Christian um, TV show that they're trying to put together. And the great thing about it is he's working on completing season one, writing it, and he's also planning on having a season two.
That's
So
dope.
I'm looking forward to all that. Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking
That's
forward
dope.
to it, man, and I'm excited about it. And maybe take a trip down to Atlanta and make another trip down to Texas. So we'll
All
see.
right. Look, man.
Yeah.
Look for like I would like to say, man, from your mouth to God's ear, man. You got to put it out there for it to happen, and
Yes.
I'm really, really proud and honored, man, to be able to have you come on and just share your story, share your work, man. We're fans here. We wish you nothing but continued success. And we're coming on the backside. I mean, time flies so fast. I just
Yeah,
want to,
yeah,
you
have
know,
fun.
yeah, man, I appreciate you, brother. And I just want to
Yeah.
give you a moment. Is there anything that I didn't ask, or is there anything else that you want to share, before we, sign out, from today's conversation?
No, just check out Miss Virginia on BET Plus or BET Network. I believe right now it's also on Tubi TV. And my social medias,
Okay.
you can find my Facebook at facebook.com/wanna lead. There you go.
Mhm.
And also you can find me on imdb.me/Brian Elliott. Yep.
All right.
So
So
those are
we
my socials.
I appreciate it, Brian. We're gonna make sure we add all of your information as well to the show notes. Ladies
Awesome.
and gentlemen, it's been another great show with another great guest, Mr. Brian Elliott, right here from Virginia, man, right here in our own backyard, man. Brian, again, continue success to everything that you do, my brother. We'll be
Thank
catching you.
you.
You part of the family now. Anytime you want to come back, man, you want to talk about any projects,
That sounds great.
hey, you are always welcome to come back here and share it, man. We really appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Yes,
From
sir.
Richmond to DMV, baby. Let's
That's
go.
right. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. So look here, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I'm your man, Dame DNYDC. This is Two Mics Up, Season 7 on the Mogul TV Global Network, the #1 network for positive programming. You can catch us in 45 countries, 100 million viewable subscribers on your Roku and Amazon TV devices. Make sure you go download the app today so you can follow Two Mics Up. Check out all the shows. Plus, check out my network mates, man. We're doing a lot of great things on the channel. And speaking of channel, yo, at this point in time, watching Two Mics Up on the Infusion TV channel, I've been blessed to start my own channel on the network. So check out all the shows from Two Mics Up Business Corner, and all the other shows that we're going to be bringing to you this year. Check us out, go support us, and we thank you for your continued support. And like we do as we close out each and every show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you with a couple of things. May you stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.
007.